Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be discussing Zen Habits, a Handbook for Life by Babauta. There are lots of different productivity, personal development books out there. This one's not very thick. You can see it's about 130, 140 pages, self-published. And it grew out of a blog by the same name. So I think Leo probably either took blog entries directly from there or refined some of them into this book. Lots of helpful advice in general, and I'm going to read a few of the passages that really resonate with me and see how you like them. So when he's talking about decluttering, he has a number of points, but one of the things he notes, be merciless. You may be a pack rat, but the truth is you won't ever use most of the junk you've accumulated. If you haven't used it in the last year, get rid of it. It's as simple as that. If you've only used it once or twice in the last year, but know you won't use it in the next year, get rid of it. Toss it if it's unsalvageable and give it away if someone else might be able to use it. And there are different rules. People have come up with a 30-day rule, a 90-day rule. But the idea is something is usually replaceable. If you have this thing, you say, well, just in case I need to do it. These are very dangerous words to say to yourself, just in case. And because you keep saying just in case, you keep things forever. So be ruthless, be willing to get rid of stuff, particularly if you haven't used it, especially if you said, I'm keeping it just in case. And this is one of those times where moves, dreadful as they are, and as many times as I've done them in my life, they provide a great opportunity to get rid of stuff. So that's one of the reasons I look forward to moves. I will be getting rid of stuff. What about decluttering your mind? Simplify your information stream. I've recently gone through the process of eliminating most of my RSS feeds. This was, how many years ago was this to refer to RSS feeds? 2009. So this might be email newsletters. I have also cut back on the number of emails I respond to. And for more than a year now, I haven't read a single newspaper, watched television except for DVDs, or read a single magazine. The news no longer gives me any value. Simplify the inputs into your life, and you can simplify the outputs. Remember, you don't have to like the advice at first. Just sit on it, think about it, ponder it, and ask yourself if it's possible if you might do that. Just try it. You don't have to give up news forever. Just give it up for a while and see how you do. I think most of the time you're going to feel better. So this chapter is called Don't Do Everything on Your To-Do List. A reader of Zen Habits, Jeremy Martin, wrote in with this question. My problem is that if I have a list of things to do, no matter if they are high priority or personal projects for myself, I feel guilty if I am not working to shrink that list. This can lead to periods of burnout for me, where I barely get anything done. I never know when it is okay to relax, or when it is okay to take a break and play that video game, read a book, or some other leisure activity. Do you have any tips that might help me out? This problem is one that many of us deal with, and there is no easy answer. Here are my suggestions. Set 1 to 3 most important things for the day, MITs. The top 1, 2, or 3 things that you really want to get done that day. This is an addition to the GTD system, so that's getting things done. Not a part of it, but I find it helps me to focus on what's important. GTD assumes that you will know what needs to be done, which is true, but it's helpful to determine that at the beginning of each day and make sure you get those things done. Get your MITs, the most important things, done early in the day. Then everything else you do is extra. And if you feel like taking a break and playing after you do the MITs, you can do this without worrying that you're not getting important stuff done. Third, and this is probably the most important thing, you'll never get to the bottom of your list. This is something I had to learn the hard way. I would try to clear one of my context lists, but as soon as I crossed 2 or 3 off my list, another 2 or 3 would pop up. Now I try to get my list down to a reasonable number if possible. Don't try to go to task list 0 like you would for inbox 0. 4. GTD isn't about doing everything on your list. It's about knowing what needs to be done so that when you're doing something else, you know that everything else that needs to be done at some point is accounted for in your system. And you don't need to worry about all that other stuff at this point. In other words, get all that stuff out of your head and into your trusted system so you don't have to worry about it while you focus on the task before you. 5. It's also good to schedule time blocks. I will set a block for email and calls, another for writing, another for interviews. This way, I just try to get as much done in that block as possible and not worry about the rest until tomorrow's block. This is also not a part of GTD, but a useful addition, as GTD doesn't really advocate scheduling. But without a bit of scheduling, as you found, it can get a bit stressful because you never know what needs to be done. And you might notice some of this advice accords with what many other writers have been talking about. This is time blocking, single tasking, not multitasking, getting stuff done in a groove, and then moving on to the next thing. Do not try to do 2 or 3 or 4 things at once. You will do all 2 or 3 or 4 of those things poorly. Number 6, in the end, you can try these methods out, but you'll have to find what works for you. Some of these tips might work, some might not be for you. It's our systems that have to adapt to us, not the other way around. An important part of doing nothing is being able to completely relax. If we are tense, then the doing of the nothing is really for naught. Relaxing starts by finding a comfortable place to do your nothing. A soft chair, a plush couch, a well-made, clean bed. Once you've found this spot, lie in it and wiggle around to make it fit your body better. Think of how a cat lays down and makes itself comfortable. Cats are very, very good at doing nothing. You may never approach their level of mastery, but they make for great inspiration. And it's true, cats are the masters of doing nothing. Can you keep up with a cat? Do less. Take your to-do list and cross off half the things on it. Just pick a few things to get done today and focus on those. Let the rest go away. If you do less, you'll have less on your mind. And this accords with what he said earlier. What are your MITs? What are the 2 or 3 or 1 most important things that have to be done today? Everything else is a bonus. Go slower. Seems kind of weird, I know, but walking and talking and working and driving slower can make a very big difference. It's like you're saying, I'm not willing to rush through life, no matter what artificial time demands others are putting on me. I want to take it at my pace. And as a result, your mind is less harried as well. If you're enjoying this content, please consider hitting like, subscribe. It's a way for other viewers to find this content, and it'll help get the word out there. Single task. Multitasking, for the most part, is a good way to fill your mind with a lot of activity without a lot of productivity or happiness as a result. Instead, try to single task. Just focus on one task at a time. Clear away everything else until you're done with that task. Then focus on the next task, and so on. Say a prayer. There is a prayer on the Golden Rule attributed to Eusebius of Caesarea that would be worth saying once a day. It includes the following lines among others. May I gain no victory that harms me or my opponent. May I reconcile friends who are mad at each other. May I, insofar as I can, give all necessary help to my friends and to all who are in need. May I never fail a friend in trouble. Stop your first reaction. This is in relation to receiving criticism, and all of us should aspire, just speaking for myself, aspire to take criticism well. And one of the first ways you can start to do that is by controlling your reaction when you are given criticism, whether it's given to you clumsily or otherwise. If your first reaction is to lash back at the person giving the criticism, or to become defensive, take a minute before reacting at all. Take a deep breath and give it a little thought. Personally, I tend to get a little angry when I'm criticized, but I have also taught myself not to react right away. For example, I'll let a critical email sit in my inbox for at least an hour before replying. Or I'll walk away from someone instead of saying something I'll regret later. That cooling off time allows me to give it a little more thought beyond my initial reaction. It allows logic to step in, past the emotion. I don't have anything against emotion, but when it's a negative emotion, sometimes it can cause more harm than good. So I let my emotions run their course and then respond when I'm calmer. And then finally, some helpful questions under the chapter, Live Your Life Consciously. And remember, take the time to answer these questions if you haven't had a chance to do so before. You'll find that they may lead you into unexpected discoveries about yourself or potential changes that you need to make. Number 1, are you in a job that you fell into rather than the job you want? Nothing wrong with falling into a job, and sometimes it's also the job that you want. But is there something else you want to do apart from what you're doing now? 2, are you doing things that are given to you rather than what you love to do? Once again, it could be both. You could be given things that you love to do, but are there things that you would love to do that you're not doing at the moment? 3, are you spending your time doing busy work rather than what you want to do with your days? And you might say, Stephen, that's my job. Are you okay with that for however many years you're going to work in that? Or would you like to do something else? If so, what else? And remember, the answer can't be, well, anything. That's not specific enough. You need to hone in on your talents, your desires, the things that you're good at, the things you care about, and look for intersections. If you haven't read Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, I've done a review, and I'll put that in a link in the description as well as a card. That's another book that would be great to pair with the questions that are being asked here. Do you wish you could spend more time with loved ones? Is that up to you? Is it up to the loved ones? What would you need to do in order to make that happen? Would that include a move? Would it include a different type of job? Would it be a different type of living arrangement? 5, do you find yourself overweight because you've been eating the food you've been eating for years and stuck in a rut of not exercising? Did you get used to your body metabolizing everything very quickly when you were young, and you didn't adjust as you got older and your body couldn't keep up with that metabolism anymore? Have you put yourself into a routine? Have you gotten more disciplined with the food that you're eating? Are you eating better food? 6, do you find yourself living from paycheck to paycheck or in debt, not knowing where your money goes? There are so many good YouTube videos these days on budgeting, financial audit, all of these other episodes in which people are being scrutinized about their finances. If you haven't scrutinized your finances yourself, be inspired by some of these YouTube videos. 7, do you find yourself wasting your time doing things that aren't important rather than focusing on completing the things that are very important? This is very much a personal development issue. It ties together with personality. People don't want to do things and they'll do anything else rather than do the thing that's necessary. It takes discipline and practice to ignore the things that are distracting you and sit down and say, I've got to do this thing, even though I don't want to do it. Clearly, my body's telling me, my mind's telling me, do anything other than this thing. But you have to have the discipline to do it, and that just takes time. And finally, number 8, do you go through your days not thinking about what you want out of life and how to get it? Remember, if you're just stuck on that treadmill of I work this job, then I retire, then I get to do what I want, what is the whole point of life? Work is a good in our lives. It's a necessary good. I don't say necessary evil because work is dignifying. Work adds value to our lives. Work helps other people. Are you doing what it is that you want to do? Or are you simply just keeping time, hoping that one day you'll be able to retire? That is not a strategy. And that's not a way to live your life. You should be doing something that you really want to do, intersects with your gifts, that is something that you can see yourself doing consistently for however long. And you don't necessarily have to commit to doing it for 40 years, but for a certain amount of time before potentially you move on to something else, maybe in a related field, maybe in an unrelated field. But life is too short to spend time doing things, living, spending time with things that don't accord with you, with your values, with your passions. These are things that you should fight for in your own life, because if you're not going to fight for them, no one else will. Zen Habits, Handbook for Life, Leo Babauta. If you'd like to get a copy, there's a link in the description. That's one of the ways that you can support this channel. Free way to support the channel, as I already alluded to, hit like, subscribe, share this with people who might be interested in personal development issues. That's one of the things that we cover on this channel. We cover all sorts of things. If you want to thank me for this presentation, consider using PayPal or buy me a coffee. They're linked below. If you want to thank me on an ongoing basis, there's links to Patreon and YouTube membership. You'll get early access to videos like this one. You'll have a chance to chat with me behind the scenes. And you'll also get access to videos that I don't release to the general public that are just for my members and patrons. If you'd like to nominate a book for the future, head over to my Amazon wish list. You'll see all kinds of books on there, including books for my Palestine bookshelf project. Feel free to head over to that channel and check that out. But otherwise, a lot of the books will be for this channel. And all you have to do is buy a copy, send it my way, and I will do my best to review it in a timely manner, and you sponsored the video. Until next time, enjoy your reading.